Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and what you see here on the screen is the latest edition of The Economist. And it's got Donald Trump's face all over it. Some enraged, some happy, some sad, and all these crazy different looks. But it says the age of chaos. And this magazine, The Economist, this is partially owned by the Rockefellers. And there was even a Rockefeller that sat on the board for a while. But the elite use this to put little messages out there, and they'll call it predictive programming or revelation of the method, and they're basically showing you what's in their plans so that they can escape karma or go around karma. But so it's almost like them trying to prophesy, pretty much. But they're the ones who are actually doing all these things. So it's not really prophesying, but they've got this God complex and they want to be like the Most High. But this is the latest cover with Donald, and it's showing you what they have planned, which is chaos. And they use what's called ordo ab chao, or order out of chaos, to bring their order. So they'll push some chaos out, and then on the other side of it, to get rid of that chaos or to correct it, they bring the order that they were looking for. There's some other words for this: problem, reaction, solution. Basically, they'll make a problem, the people react, and then they come with the solution that they had planned all along. And their big plan is to push their NWO, their New World Order. And with that comes the mandatory MOTB, the RFID micro C-HIP. They want everybody to have this because it's basically a modernized all, a digital all, in which if you take that, you'll be enslaved to them. You could go look up the all within the scriptures. But this is what they put out recently. And it does look chaotic. And it's all in red because this is the red man. But let's go to Ordo ab chao. And this is from the AI overview. And it says Ordo ab chao is a Latin phrase meaning order out of chaos. It's a motto often associated with the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, symbolizing the ability to create order and structure from a state of disorder. And the thing is, they will bring this state of disorder. Even with the tariff thing just yesterday and the last few days, that was chaos that was brought purposely for Trump to just go and say that it was to put China in a bad state. That's a form of order out of chaos. And then they just took away all the tariffs from the other countries, and it was all meant to put China into disarray. That's order out of chaos. But moving down, it says here's a more detailed breakdown. Ordo translates to order, rank, or class. In Esau, the Edomites, especially the elite of Edom, which Edom's the so-called white man, including the small hatters, those are Edomites. They're not white people, those are Edomites. And currently they sit at the top of the world hierarchy, social hierarchy. And this time, when they're setting their NWO, they're trying to keep their rank or their order or their class. And because they have a temporary blessing and they have this great plan in which they're going to be able to keep their blessing, but it's time for them to go. Ab is a preposition meaning from. Kal is a variant of chaos, meaning a state of disorder or disarray. And that's pretty much how they do things in general. They're a chaotic people. Just look at how they take the scriptures and hold it over themselves, pretending to be the people, but then they do everything the opposite of what the scriptures say. They say the laws are done away with, and the law, statutes, commandments are order, but they do the opposite of it, so they're adverse to it, and that is chaos. They are a chaotic people. Says the phrase ordo ab chao is used to represent the idea of creating order from chaos. It is often used to describe the mission of Freemasonry, which we know these elite within Freemasonry are wicked, to bring order out of chaos, symbolizing the suffering and disarray of the human spirit that precedes the path to a spiritual life of peace and brotherhood. And there will be suffering and disarray as these people try to bring in their NWO in this fourth industrial revolution. There's going to be massive suffering and disarray, and the scriptures call it Jacob's trouble. But it won't just be Jacob's trouble, which Jacob makes up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as are scattered. But it's going to be everybody's trouble. And it's going to eventually turn into Esau's trouble because this is his downfall. They're losing power and they're trying to keep it. Here's a few images of Ordo ab Chao, the two-headed eagle there within Freemasonry, putting on both the left and the right. And that's also something that Esau uses, good cop, bad cop, or a false left-right paradigm. You come down here and you see this image, and it's a lion eating an eagle. It's almost like that serpent that's eating its tail, but this is with one end being a lion and the other being an eagle. This eagle biblically represents the Edomites, and the Lion of Judah would be Yahushua. Thought that was interesting, but yeah, this is something that they use to bring their own form of order, which their order is no order, considering it's always adverse to the law, statutes, and commandments. Oh, there's the Ouroboros, the serpent eating the tail. And really, that's what Esau is going to do. He's going to destroy himself within this chaos, because ultimately Russia, who are Edomites, are going to strike the land of Israel and the United States with nuclear weapons, which those are Edomites. The people in the land of Israel, those are Edomites that are claiming to be the Lord's people, and then here in America, running America, those are Edomites. And so it's Edomite on Edomite crime, which goes right into this Ouroboros, because they are the serpent within the scriptures, and they eat themselves. They pretty much destroy themselves and everything. That's why Yahushua has to return, because there'd be no flesh left to be saved if he didn't come when he's coming. But getting into the scriptures, this is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Satan, there's spiritual demon Satan, but he also has his people, which are the Edomites, so-called white people, and the small hatters. They're adverse to the ways of the Lord, and those are the people of the Lord's curse to judgment, because they are so far off. It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And let's get that word devices just down here. Strong's G 3540, noema, which is a mental perception, thought, And these are evil thoughts that they have for you to think that you could bring chaos to bring an order. That's evil. Your whole mind is wicked to think that way. An evil purpose. This NWO is an evil purpose. These MOTB that they want to put into everybody, that's an evil purpose. So it's that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes. The intellect, the disposition itself, device, mind, thought. These people are wicked and they are evil. They pollute the very air that they breathe to keep the Israelites asleep. They pollute the food that everyone eats to keep the Israelites asleep. These are wicked, wicked people. And they're always trying to have the advantage over Jacob. But the Lord has awakened his elect. And these devices, these intents, these wicked thoughts that they have are being found out and it's being seen. We know that they're trying to bring their NWO. And it won't succeed because the Lord said that he's going to bring them down right when they try to fill their belly. Job 20 and let's get verse 11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in dust. And they have been doing wickedness for basically forever. Since they came out, since the serpent, since Cain, in which Cain reincarnated into Esau. That's why they lack pigment, why they lack melanin, because that's the mark of Cain. But they have been going against the ways of the Lord since the beginning. But it's time for them to lie down in the dust, because they are basically in confusion at this point, doing things that aren't really making very much sense. But they're going, just like it said with the serpent in the dust, they're losing it. It says this wisdom vanished in Teman. And it truly is, because for them to even think that they're going to have a new world order shows that they're insane. They think they're going to go against the will of the Most High who created them. These are a confused, wicked bunch of people, and they live in sin. Verse 22, Job 20 and 22, because this was the point, really. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, straits being a difficult place of difficulty. And right when they think they're going to establish this, which they're going to get pretty far along, but they're not going to fully establish their new order, their fourth industrial, or their technocracy that they're looking for. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. That going into the laborers. People are all going to be against the Edomites, especially their elite, because that's who's bringing all this chaos. It's just when he is about to fill his belly, right when they think they have established their grand enterprise, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. And this comes through the nuclear missiles. And not only is Russia going to shoot it, but its allies, as well as other nations within the beast, which is NATO and the EU. The allies of the US are going to turn onto it and completely destroy this place. And shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, that's the nukes, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. This is like the missile coming out of that silo, coming to destroy these Edomites, because they're not going to be able to lay down a second order, a new order. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Everything these Edomites have done is about to be exposed, and they are about to be destroyed. They're bringing this chaos, and they're not going to be able to control it this time. And this order that they seek after is nowhere to be found, because the only new order that is coming is through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai under the Israelites, under Yahweh Shai, and then the Israelites under him. And that's the new order. It's going to be with the law, statutes, commandments, and we're going to have a righteous society. And these Edomites are going to be at the very bottom of it. And then they're going to be completely done away with. They're fighting for no reason whatsoever. So even though they do their little enchantments and stuff within their wherever it went, within their Economist magazine and their movies and everything that they have to show, it's not going to work out. This is their end. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.